This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Hey, this is Brian Peña. I always join the Vito podcast, the best podcast in the United States.
This week's Two Bad Hombres podcast is brought to you by The Athletic. Premium coverage for passionate Detroit sports fans. Two Bad Hombres listeners can get 20% off the first year of an annual subscription by visiting theathletic.com/DSP.
I was trying to get it out here. I want them dead presidents. I want to pull up, head spin, get it, get fly. I got 6 jobs, I don't get tired. I don't get tired. I don't get tired. Get it, get fly.
And we are still not tired on this week's episode of Two Bad Hombres. I am your host, Vito Jerome Shirk, along to my usual broadcast partner, sidekick as well, and the Doc from Doc and Jock, John Charles Macaroon. John, how are you doing?
Vito, welcome to the weekend. My goodness, it was nice to finally experience some warmth. 60 degrees on Tuesday. I wish it was not a rainy day, but it was nice to see the snow melting a little bit. I'm really excited as we trek towards spring. I definitely need it. My sinuses are kicking up. I mean, you get over a cold, your voice hurts, and then your kids get a sinus infection, and then they come and they hug you and you love it, and then you know what comes next? A big fat sneeze right to your face. And you're like,
that doesn't help out.
Yeah, and I'm just tired of seeing snot. I'm tired of, blowing my nose, and I just can't shake not feeling the best. I think I'm in need of some nice weather, some R&R. I might be pushing a little too hard.
Yeah, I think all the podcasts that you do and then all the clients that you take on a week-to-week basis maybe is killing you and getting the best of you finally, huh?
And maybe having to track you down to come to the studio on time might be killing me too, right?
Well, accident out there on Garfield. So I live in Clinton Township, 16 Mile and Moravian. So on my way in, that's the path that I take. And because of that, well, big-time backup. Some kind of accident.
Did you gawk and slow down? Do you do that?
I do. I kind of try to look. I couldn't tell, though. So.
Well, see, I do it quite a bit, and I know you're not supposed to. You're supposed to just keep going, but sometimes when you see these wrecks, when there's a rollover, or when you see the officers, sometimes you just have to. But what was going on? What happened in the accident?
Honestly, I didn't really look good enough. I really wasn't that observant. I just knew that it was a heck of a backup. Logjam when it came to traffic, and much more than usual because of that accident.
20 minutes late. It's okay, though. It's no big deal. No big deal.
Well, when there's an accident, I don't think I can control it.
Yes,
so I can't.
Did you think you could have maybe taken a different road?
I don't know another way. That's my problem.
Oh, you only know one way?
Not really. I had a GPS. I did end up going a different way. I'll tell you the truth. I didn't even pass the accident. I just know there was an accident ahead of me because it was stopped. And then it got to 2:50, so we try to start at 3 o'clock each week. And we didn't start at 3 o'clock this week because of the accident. So I took an alternate route. Thing is, I had a GPS, some of it. Then I got onto the regular trek, the path that I follow, and I was all right again. But I had a GPS, the first part of the alternate route, to be able to, get back on track and whatnot and figure out where I was.
Gotcha, Vito.
Yeah.
So how was your Valentine's Day? Did you have a good time with it?
The V's Day was terrific. Oh, yeah, because I was alone by myself doing stuff for the Detroit Sports Commission. So it was just terrific. No doubt. How about you?
Everything was good. I mean, I think everything went well. The missus enjoyed the flowers. Everything was cool. So no love connection for you this go around, huh?
No, nothing's happened.
Anything happened with the young lady friend that we've been talking about?
Nothing is likely to happen either based on that front.
Really?
That we talked about last week. It sounded good and everything. It was probably false advertising on my part to a certain extent because I probably presumed a few things a little bit too much on that front. There's been no conversation with her since. So today is Saturday, since last week Friday, and I text her. I texted her once after that, at least one time after that, to see what was going on, and she didn't give me a response. So I don't know what I did that was so erroneous or negative towards her. I don't think I did anything, honestly, but she has given me the cold shoulder, per se.
You're not that much of a loser, are you?
She thinks I am. I don't know why. I didn't do anything to become a loser, to look like a loser, but I'm giving off that vibe to her because she doesn't want to have anything to do with me.
What
at least as of
dummy.
right now. And now I'm thinking like I am the dummy, the big-time dummy, even though I didn't do anything. I swear to you, Doc, didn't do one thing to turn her off from me. Okay?
Rejected. I'm sorry. It's okay.
Rejected, but that's happened. I've dealt with it. I can deal with it moving forward, and I'll be all right. I'm a big boy.
Did you log on to Tinder like I told you to and start your new account?
I've been on Tinder since, but not a ton of matches and stuff. I've gotten a handful. Let's say, 10, somewhere around there.
Oh, you're gay.
Wait a minute.
No, wait a minute. I mean, they were female matches, but you know what? Tinder is so It's not a consistent source of flames and whatnot and great relationships. So it is what it is with that. But I was on there after the girl gave me the cold shoulder. So I'll just say that much.
Okay. As we know on a podcast, we just keep on moving forward. Yep. It happens. You were late, but the best part about a recording is we can just show up, turn on the microphone.
It doesn't matter because there's no radio producer formally. Now you are the man. And that's why I texted. I did to be nice and honest. And that was that. Now, honestly, the NBA All-Star Weekend was good, was better than last year. I know you probably didn't watch much of it. I didn't even watch the entire week. I never do, but I'll check in. I know I check in more than you. And the biggest note from it, besides for the All-Star game being different, a different format with it being Team LeBron and Team Stephen, and I liked that, by the way, and we'll go into that a little bit, more in depth here in a few. But Fergie and the National Anthem and the build-up to the All-Star game, it was too much, and a lot of people did not like what Fergie did. Or the other actors. Did you see any of that before she sang? They came on, did their little sketch. It was like a half an hour thing. If people wanted to watch the game, they came to watch the game on TV and in the stands at Staples, and there was no game to watch for a half an hour.
Like a lot of things, I got my information from Twitter, and a lot of people said, hey, is this intro over yet?
Yeah.
Can we get the game?
Yeah.
But let's play a little bit of it. I mean, Fergie was really bad, and I guess what her biggest mistake was is that she tried to make it sultry.
Yeah,
she tried to. You don't do that to the anthem. Just go out there and sing it. And she came out and admitted that she tried to take a chance. It fell flat, but it produced the biggest GIF probably of the decade with Draymond Green busting out laughing. But let's play a little bit of it. It's really bad, and the more you hear it, the worse it is, man. It's really bad. Oh.
What's going on?
Oh, hello.
Hello? Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Okay, we're not even going to end it. It's just so bad. Wow, Vito, it was worse the third and fourth time I heard it. It's brutal, right? It's just too bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was an overreaction. How people have reacted on Twitter, on The View, a show that I don't always watch, but when I have, and this past week when I did, they did criticize her for being too sultry and sexual with the anthem, trying to do too much, but she was trying to give her own flair to it. The thing is, it was over the top, and it was kind of that Jesus Christ moment. What are you doing out there, Fergie? A talented musical artist, and you got to give her, I think, the benefit of the doubt for taking a risk, though, but taking a risk in the wrong fashion, too.
Exactly. It was terrible, and it's bad when it's trending on Twitter the following day. It was trending on Monday, but all in all, it kind of was par for the course. I wasn't fond of the skills competition. I felt like what they tried to do was okay, but it wasn't really anything that kept my attention. But many fans around here were really enthralled with Dinwiddie, with Donovan Mitchell, with Devin Booker winning the award. So people watched it and kind of said, look, these guys got skills. And Andre Drummond went out there and was eliminated in the first round of his portion. But like everyone else, I make it a viewing, a habit, to try and tune into the dunk contest. That's the best part. I mean, the three-point shot's nice. You get to see guys that are above average shooters do their thing, and great for Devin Booker. Good job, great. You did really well. Awesome for you. But the dunk competition is the meat. It's the entertaining portion, and for me, it was god awful. And I kept saying, look, I like the concept. I like the idea of these guys going out there and trying to dunk, but if you don't execute the dunk, it ruins the competition. And so it was just really kind of funny in that Larry Nance had his dad there, and he puts on his old jersey, tries to do a mimic of his dad's dunk, and he missed it. And you had great idea by one of the dunkers putting on the Black Panther mask, misses the dunk. So it just ruined the vibe. It just wasn't that good, and I felt like I wasted 45 minutes of my time trying to sit and watch it. The dunks weren't that great, and on our Twitter page, at Detroit Podcast, I reference back to times when Vince Carter would dunk, and it's very important that maybe you scale it back in terms of creativity, but make the dunk. It's most important that you can't go out there and miss 2 and 3 dunks.
Well, yeah.
It's terrible.
And then you get points for missed dunks.
It was terrible. I didn't like it.
How is that possible? That shouldn't be feasible.
And in the game, I didn't check into it all that much. I guess people said that the last 5 minutes was really good. It was played better than in years past. But great. The winning team got 100K. The losing team got 25. It made it so that it wasn't a dunk fest. People did try, but what people have said was basically they tried the fourth quarter. The first 3 were entertaining and things like that. But for me, I watched all of none of the All-Star game, and I didn't care. It was good to see the highlights with Andre Drummond dunking, but I did not care about the All-Star game. I feel like when I was talking to you about it, they can try different things, maybe if they up the money, where the team that wins gets 500K and the team that loses gets nothing. Maybe.
Well, the thing is then, how much money are we willing to put on the line for these players when they already make millions and millions of dollars? Like LeBron James, does he need any money? Now, the thing is, it was $100,000 per player on the winning team, and then $350K to the winning team's charity of choice. So that was a good thing, good incentive as well involved in the All-Star game and the winning team and what the winning team got. So there was incentive, I think more than in the past. There was more. It was $50K last year or something. So it was incentivized from last season's All-Star game, and that defensive intensity brought in the last 5 minutes or 3 minutes of the contest were extremely good and a lot better than in previous years. So I got to give it to the All-Stars for kicking it up a notch or two in terms of defensive intensity and bring in just a better brand of basketball to the All-Star game. And now we hope we see that on a yearly basis and maybe them even up in the ante a little bit more next season and beyond.
All right, before we get to another heated topic with LeBron James, I definitely want to talk about LeBron James versus Laura Ingraham and the notion of shut up and dribble. Everybody's got to talk about it, and people have weighed in. People are really kind of going, woo, they've drawn their lines in the sand. It's kind of a polarizing topic. It's really interesting. But earlier in the week, it was announced that because of the investigation with the NCAA, Louisville had their 2013 NCAA tournament title revoked. And so Michigan fans are kind of on our Twitter page blowing it up, and they're wondering, look, do we get to celebrate it? I mean, we were in that game. We were the second-place team. We got screwed out of that call. Trey Burke was did not foul on that block. Trey Burke's block was legit. And so Michigan fans are a little bit rowdy, and some people have made up T-shirts calling themselves the 2013 NCAA tournament title team, and they're claiming the victory. Hashtag Trey's block was clean. Everybody out there is claiming the title, but in the end, when we talk about vacating titles, Michigan still went out there and played, and they lost. And Michigan can relate. I mean, I don't know if it's just a little bit before your time, but Michigan had some wins vacated, some banners brought down because of the whole Ed Martin scandal, and it set off a chain of really bad basketball for the University of Michigan with the whole Brian Ellerby, situation. Michigan basketball was in the tanks for a long time. And, when it comes to vacating wins, I don't think, I put up a poll on our Twitter page, should you celebrate it? I don't think you celebrate it. You lost the game. You don't take back the memory of the game. You don't take back the hurt feelings of the loss. Vacating a title, fine if you do an investigation, but many people take the stance of, look, punish the team by levying hefty fines and banning the team from future entrances into the NCAA tournament. That's legit. That's real. So if Louisville, violated the rules by giving these athletes money, big-time money, escorts, some vile things, then look, 3-year ban from the NCAA tournament, no postseason play in the conference tournament, and a hefty fine. That might make a mark, but erasing a win that already happened, everyone celebrated it, everybody's already devastated about it, I'm not down for that. It was interesting that it came out earlier on Tuesday.
But you know what? What hurts the most, though, is removing that NCAA title from the program's history. It happened. Those players always will know that it happened. That's the thing, too. So at the end of the day, they'll always know they still won that championship. U of M did not. So U of M's players from that team and fans should not be celebrating that. They didn't win. And what, you're going to celebrate a win by default, a win by forfeiture? Who celebrates that? When do we start celebrating that as a country, as basketball fans and whatnot? It doesn't make any sense to me to celebrate that.
Might be the only way Michigan gets a title celebration.
Well, it might be in both basketball and football at this point. You're right.
So you're not down with celebrating. You're like, look, win it on the court.
Yeah.
Don't take it cheaply, right? You don't want no handouts in terms of tournament wins or anything like that. So
it's like I don't want a participation trophy. I want to win by merit, with cause, and you got to go out there and perform and get it done on the floor.
So on Two Bad Hombres, the official stance is we do not recognize the 2013 Michigan basketball team as a title holder. No
Don't
way.
even remember it happening. Never happened to me. Never will.
You got it. So what did you make of the hubbub with Laura Ingraham and LeBron James? Set the scene for everybody.
Well, she made the comments towards LeBron and his political stance about Donald Trump, his latest comments in an uninterrupted interview with Kerry Champion of ESPN. She was, driving in the front seat? She was a driver with Kevin Durant and LeBron. LeBron and Kevin Durant opened up about their feelings and thoughts regarding the president, Donald J. Trump.
And LeBron James was basically saying that it's his opinion that Donald Trump really doesn't care about a large segment of the minority population in the United States.
And he did swear.
Okay.
They bleeped it out. He dropped an F-bomb or something. So I think this Fox News political commentator, whose name I don't choose to bring up, okay? I don't think that she should have said what she did. And now it's brought more fame to her, more attention to her. Did we even know who she was before this incident?
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of people did, though, and that's the truth.
Well, if you're into politics, you know who she is. She's a strong right-wing individual who is really a strong supporter of Donald Trump, and she's on Fox News. She's got a national television show.
An ardent supporter of Trump.
Yes.
And a racist right-winger now. I mean, you could say that. It was racist. It was bigoted, what she said, in direction towards LeBron. Shut up and dribble. And then she said, as it was said before, something like that, like as if somebody else had, come out with that quote before her. She's the one that implemented it, and she's acting like, I'm quoting somebody. No, that was racist from you, and it's 2018, baby. You got to move on. Buckle up and move on. Even if you don't like that these African-American athletes and basketball players specifically are voicing their opinions, guess what? They have the right to because they have a platform as basketball players. They're celebrities. LeBron's an A-list celebrity himself. He's a mogul. He's an icon, and not just on the basketball court. He's much more than that, and he has a right to voice his opinions. You can't tell him to shut up and dribble. It wasn't right, and it was, I think, overwhelmingly racist, what she said towards LeBron. And would she have said that if he was a white athlete, a white basketball player? Now, we don't know that, but once again, it came off as racist, what she said.
Okay, her name's Laura Ingraham. She's got a show on Fox, and let's play the clip here.
NBA superstar LeBron James is talking politics again, and this time it's R-rated. Here's his barely intelligible, not to mention ungrammatical take on President Trump in a new ESPN podcast. But wait, there's more gripping insight. ESPN host Kerry Champion asked James and fellow NBA star Kevin Durant about what she described as Trump's racist comments. I'm numb to this commentary, like, must they run their mouths like that? Unfortunately, a lot of kids and some adults take these ignorant comments seriously. Look, there might be a cautionary lesson in LeBron for kids. This is what happens when you attempt to leave high school a year early to join the NBA. And it's always unwise to seek political advice from someone who gets paid $100 million a year to bounce a ball. Oh, and LeBron and Kevin, you're great players, but no one voted for you. Millions elected Trump to be their coach. So keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and dribble.
Yeesh. I can understand where her position is really harsh, but I don't see it as a race thing. I see it as a situation where she's saying, know your role as an athlete, which is do not talk about politics because it's her opinion that athletes aren't as knowledgeable as full-time political pundits. And so you basically are saying that you are one-dimensional as a person if you are an athlete and you're not allowed to speak on politics. But there are people who believe that, athletes should know their role and only provide the service in which we watch them for. And please don't give me your political opinions unless we ask you about it and things like that. So I understand the debate and the whole notion of kind of stick to sports, and we try to as well, but sometimes what you do is you just say, she could have worded it better and said, look, you know what, LeBron has really strong opinions about the president, and the opposite side is no, the president, his job is to run the country for everybody, not just running the country for minorities. His job is to run the country in what his view is the best for everybody. And so what she should have did was just say, I disagree with LeBron's comments. She should have invited him on the program. That would have made better news.
I think she tried you. I think I read that she tried you, but the thing is, he can't have an opinion on politics. Why would she invite him onto her program? Doesn't add up.
But yeah,
it's pretty hypocritical.
And people have noted that there's been other athletes and celebrities
on there.
Yeah,
who tweeted out Chris Long? Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Chuck Norris?
I disagree with the way she said it. I do believe that athletes have a right to speak on it, but all I would say is, you know what? Maybe she could have said, look, LeBron is an influential figure, but everybody out there that listens to LeBron, seek other opinions as well from experts, from athletes. Don't just formulate your opinion from somebody like a LeBron James. Formulate your opinion from LeBron, from the right, from the left, from the center. Seek out a bunch of knowledge from experts and from other people as well, just so you know, and then formulate your opinion. But she can't say that because, in essence, it's a free country and anybody can say anything. But how much weight you give it, for me, like I said, I don't really take too much stock in what athletes say regarding politics, but there are some things that I definitely respond to and look at in terms of what people say.
So to insinuate, Doc, that LeBron can only bounce a basketball is totally wrong to start off.
100%. And what do you think the ramification is? Do you think athletes are going to continue to, politicize everything? Are they going to continue to speak out? And do you see pushback on both sides?
Well, I think more and more athletes are empowered now to speak out and should be empowered. And they have a huge platform. And individuals like myself kind of look up to these athletes. And they're not supposed to be huge, huge role models. Remember, Charles Barkley came out and said, I'm not a role model. And that was like a perfect commercial for that time. But I think in our political climate nowadays, Doc, it's a little bit different, right? And you have the right to voice your opinion towards the president. If you don't like the president, and by the way, he's not my coach. He's not your coach really either. Is the president really the coach? That was odd, wasn't it? Even if you like Trump, support his views and whatnot, I don't think he's a coach. He's not my coach.
Exactly. And so I think that both sides maybe have taken very strong stances, and people will take their sides, and people do have to decide in terms of when they get information, where do they get their, political information from? What do they need to know in order to kind of educate themselves? That's all we ask people to do, is just read up on things. Don't just take opinions from one side. Take it and learn actually the other side, because that way you know what you're arguing against. And so Laura Ingraham, man, I think she came on a little bit too strong. And I do believe that it's tough, too, because when a political figure goes up against an athlete, I think that popular notion is the athlete's going to take
he wins
right?
no matter what he's saying.
Yeah.
And he's not the most intellectual dude when it comes to political commentary. I'm not either. He's not a political commentator, so she has that over him. But really, are we going to really have to choose a side now, or say, oh, she knows more? Well, she does. That's obvious. But once again, he still has the right to express his viewpoints. And he made some valid points still at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Do you think she did that just for attention? Do you feel like she used LeBron and saying, look, in terms of athletes talking about politics, do you think she kind of knew that if I talk about LeBron, this is a way to get my name out there and to further her agenda and her cause and things like that?
Absolutely. Because you bringing up LeBron, he's a mogul, right? He's an icon off the basketball floor. How many people know him that don't watch basketball? They don't know about the fact that he can record a triple-double every single night when he goes out there, or that he's won 3 championships. My mom still knows about LeBron. You think she knows that he's won 3 NBA championships? No, she doesn't know that, but she still knows LeBron. He's that big of a figure, and that's my point, too. So when you bring him into the equation, yeah, you're trying to get people to gravitate towards you and your show and what you do as a political commentator on Fox News.
So what do you say to those people that say, look, I don't want to know anything about what an athlete says about politics or what they think about life or what they think about society. I just want them to go out there, play baseball, play basketball, go out there for the couple hours when I'm tuning in and just go out there and entertain me. What do you say to those people? Because I wish there were more people that value the opinions of everybody, but it's just not the case. People are rigid, and they say, we only want you to do certain things. We want you to be X and fit in a certain box. What do you say to those people? How do we open up people's minds to take in different opinions, whether or not you take stock in it or whether or not you have a major, stance on things or you value an athlete's opinion? How do we get people to open up their minds and just listen to everybody? And whether you agree or not, just listen more.
Well, I think you have the stance yourself that if you don't like what this person is saying, such as LeBron, you're not going to listen to it. Why should it bother you? It doesn't bother you, right, that LeBron's saying this about Trump? Does it really? It shouldn't just bother people that are of the opposite side of the political aisle, that have different viewpoints and thoughts about Trump than Fox News and its commentators do. By the way, you can't, like LeVar Ball came out and said, stay in your lane to Christine Leahy on Colin Cowherd's show, The Herd. That wasn't right. And that's kind of the logic here from this Fox News political commentator. Stick in your lane to LeBron. He doesn't have to. I wouldn't. I'll tell you this much. If I was an athlete, I'd be speaking too.
Okay.
And what are the repercussions? You shouldn't be scared to speak your mind is what I'm trying to say. You have that right.
But do you believe that some of the reason why the attendance at the Palace is lower for the Pistons is because of SVG speaking out? Do you believe in that the attendance for the NFL has gone down a little bit because of athletes not standing up for the anthem? Do you believe that there are repercussions, or do you believe that there's other factors that are causing a decline? Because it's kind of, it's getting talked about, but not a lot of people are really diving really in depth in terms of why is it that people's interest in sports has gone down? Is it because of sports athletes and politics, or is it because of a myriad of other things as well? How much of a factor is SVG speaking out in favor of what LeBron says and things like that, in favor of speaking out on politics? How much is that alienating his fan base?
The biggest factor is the Pistons have a sucky product on the floor. They stink. When you stink, it doesn't matter what your political viewpoints are as a coach. Like Steve Kerr right now is widely regarded as this guy that's truly intelligent about what he's speaking about, makes some very good points about Trump, the current state that we exist in as a country. His comments that he made about school shootings, remember, were very poignant, right? They were very valid and credible. And but the thing is, if the Warriors stunk, guess what? Would people be showing up? I think it still comes down to that. And Greg Popovich speaks his mind all the time. Guess what? People are showing up for his games, too, because the Spurs are relevant. If you have a relevant product, a credible product on the floor each night, guess what? People show up. So I don't really take stock in the fact that, Stan Van Gundy is saying this about the president, so I'm not going to go show up, and people aren't showing up because of that factor. I don't believe in that, Doc.
Okay, I do believe it's going to be a fascinating look going down the road, because I think more and more athletes are going to speak up. But I do think that it's great for a guy like LeBron James, who has clout and has a lot of respect across the league, to speak out and be willing to, because a lot of people would look at Michael Jordan and say, he just was a little bit too corporate, wasn't willing to speak out on a bunch of things when people asked him to. So a guy like LeBron can have influence, and the most important thing is, when we talk about dialogue, is keep the dialogue open. If you disagree with somebody, don't shut them down. Don't say, don't speak on it. But what we have to, I think, when we talk about debating and things like that, we just have to have more patience in terms of debating with one another. Where, hey, if I don't agree with you, fine. We just say, hey, okay, we've established we don't agree. Here's my side. Here's your side. Is there any common ground in the middle in terms of what we think about the country? But LeBron has some culpability, too. When you talk about speaking on the president, whether you're strongly with him or against him, dropping the F-bomb when you're speaking on the president, you could look at it and say, look, Laura Ingraham could have had, the ability to say, look, when you're addressing the president, you could have shown a little bit more respect and not dropping the F-bomb. You can you can speak your mind and be against somebody and what their policies are and what they stand for without cursing, because it might lead to more disrespect for an office that should be respected, whether you agree with who's in there or not. You should respect, in my opinion, the office of the President of the United States. And I know past presidents and the current president aren't doing the best job of upholding the respect of the office, but it's just one of those things where there's a given, and that office deserves respect, because, history is not only in the last 20 years. The office has been there since the beginning of the country, and so you should respect the office of the president.
So respect the past presidents. Because obviously, LeBron does not respect this current president. And not a lot of people, more and more people don't, at least. Now, that's a bigger issue for another day, and we can go down that path we have before. But LeBron dropping that F-bomb, that was bad. And she went after that. Laura did go after that, by the way, too. And that was maybe the one negative side of what LeBron had to say about the president, too.
Yep. Very interesting debate, Vito. Good stuff. I enjoyed the podcast recording. Hopefully the weekend goes well for you, and hopefully we get you back on track in terms of the love game here. I know that in the past week we've tried to get you to connect with the opposite sex, but I think I got to step my game up, being the love doctor here, and trying to get you meeting these young ladies out here. Can't be having these dry spells, my friend. This can't happen. I'm sad.
You at least think you're the love doctor. You're the DOC for another reason. I don't know about for love, okay? Hey, you're married, though. I mean, I'll give you that much, but, I don't know how much that means. A lot of people are married out there, by the way.
I feel like I'm taking the L, man. When I hear that you reach out and you get ghosted, it hurts my heart, man, like a dagger.
Thank you for feeling that pain. And with that, I hope everybody else out there feels some pain for me, too, okay? And what I went through on Valentine's Day.
If you're listening to this and you enjoy the conversation, hit up Vito, at Vito Jerome. He's never opposed to anyone sliding into the DMs. He'll respond. He'll listen. And, hey, and if you want to reach out to me to get to Vito, listen. He's an up-and-coming individual, dude. I'm telling you, he's got game, and I do believe that if you reach out to Vito, you might have the opportunity to meet one of the good guys. So you can reach us at our Twitter page, at Detroit Podcast, or slide into Vito's DMs, at Vito Jerome.
I can be good or bad, whatever you want, baby, by the way. And I'll end this week's discussion with that, Doc. Thank you much to you, to everybody else out there as well, for tuning in to this week's episode of Two Bad Hombres.
You can follow the show as well on our Twitter page, at Two Bad Hombres. See everybody next week.